whistle. On three. One, two, three. Enjoy the cruise, everybody.
Pierre Leclerc and Angus Chateau would ever imagine what St. Louis would have grown into today. And that was in part with the help of paddle boats, such as the replica you're on today, that helped shape this city. As we have our heliport on the water and our helicopter tours, just another way to see differently, which is our motto here at the Gateway Arch National Park. Gateway Air Tours offers helicopter tours between March through October, 11 a.m. This river in the United States, instead of highways for travelers and industry, and an international dividing line. It was made world famous by writings from riverboat pilot and writer Mark Twain, who was from Hannibal, Missouri. Now, the Mississippi River goes in Mexico. River depths on average are 25 feet here in St. Louis, and the deepest part is 250 feet at New Orleans. Coming up next, look up port on the levee for a bronze sculpture. 1804 to 1806. And that sculpture is called the County Three Turn. It's 3.5 tons, stands 23 feet tall, which means when you visit the sculpture and get your photo alongside, the top of your head will come to the dog's nose. Engineering marvel and the original symbol of westward expansion. It was the first railroad bridge crossing the Mississippi in St. Louis. 145 years later, it took 7 years to build, 1,400 construction workers, 14 men died, and 76 came with a rare illness. They called this illness Caisson's disease and later discovered it was something to be future called the bends. Now, the doctor of James Eads recommended that these men, the future men, ascend the stairs in the caissons much more slowly. He was correct, and that saved many of the men working in the caissons. This was the first time in history that the bends and the remedy for the bends was really understood. Blocks wide, and most of these buildings were built in the mid-1800s. Carried out to save this space and repurpose the warehouses to restaurants, nightclubs, and professional office buildings. The bridge ahead of us is the King Bridge and was complete in 1952. It's over 4,000 feet. The bridge was originally called the Veterans Bridge, but was renamed shortly after the death of the noted Civil War pilots, also known as mooring cells or dolphins, and they were there to help keep in place the riverboat 2011. Prior to being a dockside casino, she was the world's largest inland excursion riverboat for 40 years, carrying 4,000 passengers. Now, it should have to be a pretty big boat, carrying 4,000 passengers, and to get a feel for the size of the boat, we may be known as the Albatross. She was built in 1901 as a side here with you all on the Mississippi River, and then back to my sailboats in the American guide and adventurer Sacagawea, who was a keystone element in the success of the Lewis. Using your imagination, go back in time to the mid-1800s, looking at this river as though either side of the levee was covered with foreign houses. Now the city and the tragedy would have been much worse. It wasn't for the growth efforts of volunteer firemen. Now the fires, now one part of the firemen got to utilize a way to break the fire. They did this by blowing up other sections. Now the fire of 1849 wasn't devastating enough to the city. The city also faced the cholera epidemic of 1849. The epidemic was brought on by and ended up selling a piece of land to Thomas Jefferson for $15 million in 1803 as part of the largest land purchase ever. The arena is made of stainless steel. It's 630 feet high. Any guesses? Do you think it's wider or not as wide? Thumbs up, thumbs down. You guys are pretty good. It's the exact same. 630 feet wide as well. Construction began in February 1963 and was complete October 1965. There's an observation deck at the top with a 30-mile view of the Vice